social media.
What was that?
Is it like the social media music things?
Yes,
This
yes.
one? Oh, well, then,
Exactly right.
okay.
Exactly right.
Okay. All right.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, I'm taking a look at it, right? And I mean, I just kind of want you to see, I kind of want to see like what you have to say about like what you know, I guess, or how you feel about the social media platforms that were listed.
I would say that they're like helpful to like communicate and like I guess like show other people, but they also it's like pretty it could be like harmful, especially like right now. Like there's a lot of cyberbullying like that I hear, like all that
Mm.
stuff. So I would say it has its pros and cons, but I don't know if it's right now I think there's more cons than pros, but I think it'll get better as we go on,
Yeah, I
hopefully.
agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. There's definitely an opportunity for, I guess you could say like, social media to be very helpful in many
Mhm.
ways, right? Because like you said, it could be a very good learning opportunity if you use it the right way, right? But a lot of people will try to use it mm, mm, in an unproductive way. We'll say that. There's a way to
Yeah.
make them productive. There's a way that they could be unproductive for it. Um, if you don't mind me asking, do you happen to have any of these social media platforms?
I'm pretty sure no. Yeah, no.
You don't have any of the social
Yeah,
media
I don't have
platforms?
any. Yes, I don't have
Okay.
any.
Is that like a personal choice? Do you feel like you would have one, or do you just not have one to like say keep focus and stuff?
I would say it's just wasn't more of a personal choice. I just really don't not yet. I don't think social media is like just like a yet like not right now thing.
Okay, cool, cool. Um, so you don't use Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, or any of that?
Yeah, I don't use those.
Okay, cool. Well, I will say, I mean, it's not the worst idea to say, how do I say, like, say opening up, of course, and it's your decision, right? But like, for example, if you wanted to open up an Instagram account, not necessarily like with your name or with pictures on your profile, but just to use it as an algorithm
Mm-hmm.
to like search things that you want.
Yes.
Because have you heard about say like the algorithm and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah, I heard about the word algorithm. Yes.
Okay, so essentially what how that implies into like social media and stuff is like let's say I'm on Instagram and I decide, I'm a
I'm sorry. You keep on cutting out sometimes in the middle. Yeah, you kind of cut out in the middle sometimes. Thank you.
can you
Yeah, I
hear me
can
now?
hear you. Yes.
Okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, my bad, sorry about that. I had
Yeah.
accidentally connected some headphones to it.
Uh-huh.
What I was trying to say
Mm-hmm.
is give me 1 second here. Okay, what I was trying to say was so to leverage these social media platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously you were able to do whatever you'd like, of course,
Yes. Uh-huh.
but there is a very good way to leverage these platforms. It's a little, it could be a little tough because you have to be very mindful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean by mindful?
Yeah, it's like you gotta be aware of like things.
Exactly, exactly. You have to be very conscious, you have to be very mindful, very aware of, I guess, what you are liking and what you are looking at. Because
Mm-hmm.
to be quite honest with you, the algorithm will essentially look at all these things that you're liking and looking at. Like I kid you not, even if you're like looking, if you're like scrolling and you happen to kind of stop on a picture of like a car, it will
Mm-hmm.
continue to show you cars because it realizes that you stopped at that picture of the car, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So it's very smart and it can be very unproductive for someone who say watches funny videos, right? I mean, funny
Yeah.
videos are funny, don't get me wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, when you open up Instagram and all you see is funny videos, it's just entertainment, right? It's
Yeah.
not it's not productivity. So I have two Instagram accounts.
Mm-hmm.
I have one Instagram account where it's more like all of my stuff and like, me posting pictures, friends and family. And then I have another Instagram account where I quite literally only follow pages that I want to look at. Like me personally, I like to look at like nature stuff. I like to look at cryptocurrency stuff. I like to look at Pilates stuff. So instead of
Mm-hmm.
it kind of coming up amongst like my main profile per se, this way I'm able to kind of I'm able to how do I say this? Leverage the algorithm to my
Yeah.
advantage. So,
Okay.
like in your case, is there something that you are like looking into or like something that you want to learn more about? Like what is, yeah, is there something that you want to learn more about or that you're currently studying?
I guess was it not really studying, it's just like a side thing learning. I was in more of like microbiology.
Microbiology.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So I kid you not, something like that you could easily find like on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And again, this is all going to be for, the productive side of things. Because like you said, it's a very real worry
Mm-hmm.
of, being unproductive, of it being, you know,
Use that to harm people and like try to
used
sabotage
to
your
harm.
stuff.
Yes, between like the bullying or between like mean comments or whatnot, or
Yeah.
using it even to harm people, honestly, mentally, to be quite, it's unfortunate, but mentally it can harm people because it could put, say, bad ideas in your mind, or it
Yeah.
can make you discouraged based on certain things.
Yeah.
Um, I don't like that side of social media personally. And that's why I like to just like whenever I get on my personal, I'll just, look at posts maybe my friends have sent me. But even when I look at posts my friends have sent me, it'll affect my algorithm. So I don't really spend too much time like looking at posts other than my friends' stuff on my personal. But on the one that I use to kind of leverage the algorithm, I only follow stuff that I want to see. And I only look and like stuff that I want to see. And in this way, I'm actually able to like leverage the algorithm and able to learn new things about Pilates. I'm able to learn different like nature places that I would like to visit, or I'm able to learn about like cryptocurrency stuff. Like I'm able to stay up to date on cryptocurrency news because it can be kind of difficult to say search up different news outlets to find all these different news things when there's a say Instagram page for cryptocurrency that will quite literally just post news all day about different things happening, right?
Yes.
So in that case, it's easier for me to actually use Instagram to like say keep up with the market and
Mm.
to basically leverage the algorithm to my advantage and to show me what I want to see and uh, and like the biggest thing is that you have to decide what you want to see and what you like so that it will show you what you want to see and what you like. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I see.
Okay, cool. So, honestly, Daniel, I would recommend it. Obviously, it's up to your decision.
Mm-hmm.
I would hate for something to be like harmful and everything, but I think that if you can train your algorithm and train it to just show you, like if you open up your Instagram account and you start looking up microbiology accounts,
Mm-hmm.
and you start following some and liking different posts, it's going to show you microbiology things. And this is going to be very beneficial to you because it's going to be able to open up your mind to, I'd say, like different people who are into microbiology. You could find, say, people who are also very high in the field.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to say keep up with like, let's just say there's a young man or woman who had a breakthrough in microbiology, right? They had a new discovery or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
You could stay up to date on these new discoveries. And not only that, but you could follow the pages of these like prominent people, these very smart people who do this on a day-to-day basis. And they like to
Mm-hmm.
share, of course, what they love. So you're able to follow them and you're going to be able to essentially see like what they're doing on a day like not what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, but learning more about microbiology through them. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you, Daniel. I think that this is going to be best used with Instagram and TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say these two would probably be the best is because you're able to control it a little bit easier. I don't feel like Snapchat is that one is not easy or very even good for productivity, in my
Probably
opinion.
not Snapchat. Like I don't know, like maybe like Facebook might be the best because like Facebook, you don't like you're not just dead. Like just keep on scrolling. You're just like scrolling. You get to read it. Unlike like
Mhm.
TikTok or like Instagram where you could like if like the shorts or something, you could just scroll and you could just watch it instead of like reading it. So it's like I guess they
Okay.
have their pros and cons, both of them.
They do have pros and cons. That's true as well. I will say, I think at this point though, Daniel, I mean, of course, you want to kind of try and see what works best for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a good idea. I will personally speaking, I feel like Facebook is not as popular now as it
Mm-hmm.
used to be. And I feel like there may not be, personally, I feel like things have moved over to Instagram more and even more so over into TikTok.
Yeah.
Although TikTok, honestly, that one I feel like it's tougher to train your algorithm because
Yeah, you're scrolling through everything.
You
So,
just, yeah, you're just scrolling through everything, and sometimes it'll show you something, that doesn't even have anything to do with microbiology, right? And
mhm,
when I see things that say I don't want to have on my feed, right, or I don't want to see it, what I would honestly do is there should be a button somewhere that allows you to hit options, and
mhm.
then you can put see less of this type of post.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so you want to, I personally use that all the time. Like when I see something on my feed that I'm like, okay, this is kind of straying away from what I want to do and what I like, and this is not very productive, that's when I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and just hit not view as much. And then
Mhm.
that way, it just doesn't show up anymore. And anytime I
But
do
like,
see that,
wait, isn't that like when you use like the thumbs down button? That's like sometimes when you use the thumbs down button, so like you could
you know,
tell like a bit more.
it's something like that, but I think on Instagram, it's more like it's called, see less of this post.
Okay.
And then the same thing on TikTok, it'd be like, show me less of this. And
Okay.
I do that with the funny stuff. Like on TikTok, I was able to really work that algorithm well. I
Mm-hmm.
think I just feel like in general, TikTok is more I feel like in general the world, right? Because to
Mm-hmm.
begin with, we started off with Facebook, let's just say,
Yeah.
right, back in say 2006. And with Facebook, like you say, it was more like reading because people would write things out and you would be able to read posts, right?
Yeah.
Now, eventually, it kind of moved. Then Instagram was created, and it was all pictures, right? It wasn't really about typing; it was more about pictures. And then nowadays, like you say, it's more like reels, right? Because reels, they're fast, they're short, they're straight to the point, right? And
Yeah.
to be honest with you too, Daniel, is that with all of this social media, unfortunately, it has been wearing down um, on people's attention span.
Yeah, I would say something just about the shorts or maybe like something with blue light or something like that. It's just different. I guess it's just technology. Just
No,
technology.
it is. It is just technology in general. And that's why it can be, it can be risky to try to get into it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not very risky. Of course, if there's something that you don't like or if, you're just not having a good experience, you can always just delete your account. You can always delete the
Yeah.
app. You know what I mean? There's no risk in that. But you just want to obviously stay very productive with it. And that's where you have to hold yourself accountable, right? And when you're scrolling, you have to make sure you're keeping it conscious versus unconscious about what you're doing and how you're scrolling through, because very easily it could just go into, oh, I'm just just scrolling through videos for funny videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think like just looking at the funny videos aren't gonna be like the worst thing because like sometimes you need to like chillax so like you just did like
That's true.
just keep on scrolling. So I think like it's more of a self-discipline than just
Yes,
being mindful. As it's
I
more
agree.
discipline.
And you can even see videos about that, like videos about discipline. You can learn about that and everything, and you can learn new techniques about how to be more disciplined.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is pretty cool about it, is that whatever you're literally trying to learn and study about,
Mm-hmm.
it can help you in those kinds of fields. Like, do you happen to play any sports at all, Daniel, or no?
Sports, no, I'm not really that of a sports athletic guy.
I'm not either, to be honest with you. I'm not personally, but I do like to work out, right?
Mm,
So I
yeah.
like to go to the gym and stuff. So what I used to do, I would go on TikTok and on Instagram, and I would just search up different exercises. I would just look up, upper body exercises on TikTok. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
show me a bunch of videos. I'm able to discern which ones I want to watch, and then based on whatever, I did like, I would go ahead and do it. And then whatever I didn't like, I wouldn't do. But the algorithm started learning that I was trying to exercise. And so it would
Yes.
show me more and more exercise videos.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, now I'm just kind of trying to think of how we can apply it to you and how it can be helpful to you. Specifically, maybe something like Instagram and TikTok. Just because again, I feel like Snapchat is more like person to person social. It's not very like informative, to be quite
Mm-hmm.
honest with you. And it's not as good as not it's not as good or informative as Instagram or TikTok, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. So you feel like other you said you were in the seventh or eighth grade, was it?
Eighth grade, eighth grade. I'm
Eighth
going
grade. Okay. Okay. And do you feel like do you feel like microbiology is kind of like the field that you would like to study in the future?
Microbiology is like part of it. I'd say it's more of genetics or neurology. Like I'd say, yeah, those three fields are one of my favorites.
See, those are really dense subjects, Daniel, and I think that that's amazing. Number one, I will commend you for,
Yeah.
wanting to pursue a career in these things
Mhm.
and for you to learn about these things. I think it's an interesting topic as well. Learning about how the body works from the inside out.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah, that's just how I like it. Like those are the fields that I like. It's just sometimes it's just hard to like get motivated to actually like sit in my computer and do research. It's just like it's just tough sometimes.
and I think that's why I think this is how social media may be the most helpful, to be honest, because you're right. It could be difficult, I'm sure, to just try to look up Google microbiology and see what comes up,
Yeah.
because sometimes with like say Google, it's going to show you some more popular hits versus say new things that have come out.
Hmm.
And not only that, but I feel like anyone who's like kind of coming across new information or wanting to share information, the
Hmm.
easiest way for them to do it is going to be via Instagram or TikTok. And I think that's why it's a little bit important to maybe keep an open mind to it, just so that you can keep up with these people who are actually willing to share this information online. And you have to stay in touch with how they share that information. In this case, like we're talking about, we're thinking, Instagram and TikTok. Um, but honestly, I think that it would be pretty cool, and I think that it would be very helpful for you because it would save you time and how you it will save you time on how like you do your research
Hmm.
because you're going to be able to instantly search something on TikTok like specifically about microbiology or neuroscience and things like this.
Hmm.
And then as you come across another topic that you actually like, you can continuously to search those, and that way you get more further into that same topic, and you're able to listen to these people who again have had years of experience in the field and are trying to get their information directly to the consumer. Um, because it's harder for people to make a website, let's just say, right? Like it's harder for someone to make a website and try to market a website versus just instantly putting the information on, say, Instagram or TikTok via video. So,
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I was saying. I would say Google's more of not like a beginner friendly because like when I tried doing some research, it's just like a bunch of words that I don't know. It's like already like advanced since since Google doesn't know about it. So like
exactly.
yeah, that's it's more of like an advanced friendly place instead of a beginner friendly.
I agree. I agree. It can be very difficult to navigate. And like I said, and that's a great point too, Daniel. That's a really good point, is that you could easily look up, let's just say something like neuroscience for beginners, right? Or intro to neuroscience. You can easily put these kinds of things excuse me, you can instantly put these things on TikTok and you're going to be able to like find videos or saying, I kid you not, you could easily find a video that says, oh, you know what, man? Yeah, I'm just gonna prove it to you, Daniel. I'm literally gonna just prove it to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna quite literally go into TikTok right now and look up, what should we look up? Intro to
It's an intro.
For the last one.
which one? What do you want to do?
Why
Intro
not
to news
intro to immunology? Immunology. I know that.
immunology?
Yeah, immunology. Yeah, it's like the
Let's do it.
study of
Let's do it.
tumors.
The immune system. Okay, cool. Intro to immunology. Okay, cool. So check it out. Quite literally, it's gonna be hard to see, I'm sure, through the screen. I'll go
Yeah.
ahead and talk to you about what I'm looking at as well, and then we could even take a look at it together. But
Okay.
quite literally up at the top, sorry. Quite literally up at the top, I've got an immunology video here. This one says 2 minutes introduction into immunology. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of it so we can kind of hear the audio.
Okay.
In this brief video, we'll introduce you to the basics of how the human immune system works and how it protects us from harmful pathogens. The immune system is our body's natural defense mechanism against infections and diseases. It consists of a complex network of cells, tissues, and organs that work together to identify and eliminate harmful substances, such as viruses, bacteria, and parasites. The key players of the immune system are white blood cells, also known as leukocytes. There are two main types of leukocytes: phagocytes and lymphocytes. Phagocytes engulf and digest invading pathogens, while lymphocytes produce specialized proteins called antibodies that recognize and neutralize.
So I'll stop it right there just because it's gonna keep going for another minute or so. But right off of that, like what are your first impressions off of something like that?
Like, was it? I did like do some research with immunology, but I did not know that much. So I was like, it's just like
Right.
for a beginner, it's just like crazy because like, was it? I don't know what like pathogens like those are, even if I like study
Yeah.
for a little bit of it. So it's like
Yeah.
it feels like in like that 1 minute, it's like about I'd say 10 weeks or so, like a few months of research, I would say. Like if you just
You know,
mindlessly just go on Google. Then
yeah, it was, you know, it did sound like a lot. I didn't even recognize some of those words, to be quite honest with you. Like whenever she said there were two different types of them.
Yeah,
Um,
me neither. I didn't know those.
but what's cool, I mean, what I thought was pretty good about that though was just like it introduced you to these different words,
Yeah.
right? So
Uh-huh.
it's like, you know, at this point, instead of say going like I think this video is good because instead of say searching up immunology on Google, now you can kind of search up these individual words and topics and kind of
Mm-hmm.
understand what they do. And you have a little bit of a starting point. You have a base point, you know, and you can kind of keep
Yeah.
going through these videos and seeing like, okay, what else can I learn? And you'll hear a different word that you haven't heard before. And you
Mm-hmm.
can start studying and looking into that word. And I mean, at that point, you know, you kind of get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And I mean, I quite literally like when I searched this up, I mean, there are, let me see how many.
Yeah, I know there's many videos sent to me.
There are
I
many
know,
videos, yes. So
it's,
it could be very easy for me to like just start looking at different things and you know, and here's another thing too is like you can look into the profiles of these people or you can actually search these people up and that way you can tell about the credibility of these people because that can be kind of important as well. Is
yeah.
you wouldn't want to get information, of course, from someone who doesn't know what they're talking about or someone who isn't credible in a sense. Um,
Mhm.
so with that being said, I definitely think that you can look into it and just start looking into some intro videos. And in that way, it can kind of give you a little bit of a digestible way, you know? It's going to give you the information in an easy way for you to understand.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I also think there was like the social media is like a place where like people can interact too because like also let's say if you're like I guess interested in the same field like immunology there's like professionals like the PhDs and then you could learn a lot of things from them like was it like if you're looking to do like the same job as them they could tell you like how it is like I guess like give you insights of it.
Absolutely. And literally, you can look into that. You could quite literally look up like day in the life or what is it like to work as a neuroscientist, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Uh-huh.
and you can easily look these kinds of things up. And then at this point, now it's going to be, now at this point, you're kind of opening your eyes up to the day-to-day, you know, the day-to-day activities or the day-to-day duties of a neuroscientist or of a microbiologist and things like that. And this way,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to get a much deeper insight as to like what you're going to kind of get yourself into, and then start understanding like, okay, you know, maybe microbiology isn't like, you know, what I really want to do, and more maybe I'm going to lean more towards neuroscience
Hmm.
versus, or you maybe you want to lean less neuroscience and more towards microbiology, right?
Hmm.
But I think this will be a very helpful way to get other people's number one opinions and also their information out to you in a much more digestible way, especially compared to something like Google. Because you're right,
Hmm.
I don't feel like Google is that user friendly.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that if you wanted to, I do feel like TikTok is a little easier to just type something up and be able to search an exact video about. I
Yeah.
feel like Instagram is more a little bit more, I would say vague, right? Like not very straight to the point. Because these videos can be very straight to the point.
Okay, because like for me, like especially me, I'm more of like a person to person, like learning instead of like just reading and just like understanding it. So I think like videos would be really helpful because it's like thinking like it feels for me, there's like a video is just trying to imitate like a person to person tutor
Yes.
a talk or lesson.
And I think that's what makes it more, like I said, digestible and honestly easier. Even though, of course, like I feel like reading is a very important skill, of course, right? We can't neglect reading or anything, but when it comes to gaining information or when it comes to like, you know, for what you're trying to do, which is to say gain information in a much more digestible way, I think this would be perfect for you, to be quite honest with you. And I think it's just something that you can leverage, to be quite honest. And you're going to be able to learn a good amount off of it. You're going to be able to like see more in depth about these topics. Um, and yeah, and like I said, and you can even look up like you can even look up like the specific people or like you can look up top, how do I say, like prominent, like high status or high prestige um people in that industry or in that field. And once you've kind of done your research and been like, okay, I know this guy is very, very smart. He knows what he's talking about. He's very credible. You can say go on Instagram and follow him on Instagram, and he would more than likely be posting microbiology stuff. Or
Mhm.
you could try to see if he has a TikTok as well, and you're going to be able to like see what kinds of videos that they post on there. Um,
Yeah.
Same thing with YouTube. YouTube can be very, very informative as well.
Yeah.
I do feel like, honestly, man, I feel like at this point, the way that social media has been going, because I've been watching it for quite a while. Um,
Yeah,
I
I do YouTube too. It's just like I guess YouTube is just a bigger platform to get like into the rabbit hole here.
You're right. And you know what? And that's the problem with YouTube, in my opinion, is that can happen easily. And that's why I do think that TikTok might be better in this case, just because you're going to be able to easily get into what, like, I mean, I literally looked up intro to immunology
Mhm.
and easily found like 8 to 12 videos
And
about
then
intro to immunology.
and I think like was it YouTube? It's like the thumbnails that like attract people. I guess like TikTok and those stuff. If you search it up, the thumbnails aren't as advanced. It's just like part of their short or something. You could just like
Yes.
click on it. It's not gonna be too attractive either.
Yes, yes. People will try to like clickbait you
Mm-hmm.
into picking their videos on YouTube.
Yeah,
And I think that's all to do with the goal of like, getting clicks
funny.
and getting views so that they can get money. Exactly, right. End game is they get money. Now I think on TikTok, people are like, it's less, I think it's less work because you can easily edit everything in the app and you can easily just
Yeah,
record your voice. So number one, it's more user friendly for both the consumer and the creator.
okay.
And what that basically means is more content between the two. So
Yeah,
you're going to be able to get more content from creators because it's just so easy for them to get it to the consumer, which would be you in this case.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
So yeah. So what do you think about that, Daniel? Do you think that you would, not to like that you have to make a decision now, but do you feel like after this talk and after we took a look at the TikTok platform itself, do you feel like it would be a helpful concept or a helpful like platform?
I think I would rethink about it because like obviously I need to ask my parents for choice like of permission because it's social media and
Of
I don't
course.
think I have like this enough discipline to do it,
Mhm.
so I think a bit of more time or with like asking and hearing from other people how
Mhm.
for them, and I think that would influence it, but I think I'm leaning towards a bit of social media, like I guess in a helpful way instead of like just like entertainment, like how I sometimes use YouTube as like an entertainment source instead of an
Yes.
education source. So yeah.
Do you watch any YouTube videos now?
Oh yeah, I do obviously because sometimes I just feel burnt out and I watch YouTube videos just to like
Yeah, just to relax or whatnot.
yeah, relax. Yeah.
Well, if you're still, if you feel, I mean, of course, ask your parents if you want to. You know what I mean? Of
Yeah.
course, this is your decision before you even want to ask them. But if you wanted to open up the TikTok for the, educational purposes,
Mm-hmm.
because it can most definitely be educational if you make it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would, yeah, like go ahead and ask your parents. But if in the case that you decided that maybe that's not the best way you want to do it, you can always also search up the same thing. Number one, the prominent people in the industries that you like the top people of the industry, and then maybe
Mm-hmm.
even checking to see if they have a YouTube channel because I've seen doctors have YouTube channels where they just try
Yeah.
to spread knowledge and things like that. So
Yeah.
there's a chance that those industry leaders will have a YouTube channel, and not only that, well, that way you could kind of keep up with the new things that you're talking about, but
Mm-hmm.
on top of that, you're going to be able to like look up easily intro to immunology say on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube as well. And then you can
Yes.
kind of branch out on the different topics you hear about, and you're going to be able to like Google and research all these different topics and stuff like that.
All right. Okay.
Mhm,
That
mhm.
sounds good.
Yes, yes. Cool.
Cool.
Yes. Well, Daniel, we were here for just 30 minutes, right?
I think it was an hour because seven. Wait, is it? Yeah, 7 to 8, isn't it? I thought we
Oh,
started at 7. So.
7:30 to 8:30?
Yeah, let me check. I'm not sure. Yeah, 7:30 to 8. Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I think it was 1 hour. I'm not sure if it was an hour,
I think today it was just 30 minutes. Let me just double check here.
30 minutes. Okay. All right. Not really sure.
Yeah, I'm sitting here for just 30.
Okay, all right. Well,
Yeah. But how do
that's
you feel about that? How do you feel about the talk though, if you don't
oh
mind me
that
asking?
it was amazing. It felt like 10 minutes, but like it's
Right?
only
It did feel like 10 minutes.
or like less, like I don't know, like a few minutes or so.
It felt like we were just kind of talking, but I
Yeah.
feel like, I mean, do you feel like it was helpful? Do you feel like it was insightful?
Yeah, I
to
think
you?
it's like a good deal. I guess I learned something new because like
Yes,
social media could be more and like the algorithm and those stuff. Yeah, that's interesting how those work. And then
it is. It is. And the
and
same
then
thing happens on YouTube, to be quite honest with you. I'm sure
yeah.
whenever you like search up YouTube and if you're logged into a profile, it's probably going to show you videos that you've seen before
Mhm.
and videos like it.
Yeah.
So the same thing could be done with YouTube and maybe even practicing that same self-discipline on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you can kind of prove to yourself that you have the accountability to say want to open up a social media account.
Uh-huh.
Of course, when you feel ready, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But even if you're even, before you're ready for that, I definitely think that you have the tools in your hands to really research into these topics. But I do recommend that you research into the topics that you're very interested in, and that way you can learn as much as possible so that you can really nail down what it is that you want to like. This way you could kind of start learning a little bit about every topic and be like, man, I really like the way neuroscience kind of functions.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you kind of get more into immunology and you're like, immunology is cool, but it's a little boring, right? I find neuroscience better. And that way you can lean more into neuroscience and you can make that decision before you do a bunch of like research on
Mm-hmm.
Google. You're gonna have a more
Yeah.
digestible way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, Daniel. Well, like I said, I think it's only 30 minutes today.
Uh-huh.
So a good first talk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna connect with Linda to see when our next like session will be.
Uh-huh.
But I'm gonna be eager to kind of hear how you've leveraged social media or YouTube or just any
Uh-huh.
kinds of like tools at your disposal to
Mm-hmm.
help you learn.
Okay. All right. All
Cool.
right. Sounds cool. All right.
All right, Daniel. Well, man,
All
good
right.
talking to you, okay?
All
I
right.
hope
You
you have a good
too.
rest of your night.
All right.
Like I said, I'll connect with Linda, so we'll see when we have our next session, okay?
All right. Okay.
All right, Daniel.
Okay. See you
Take care,
later.
man. Have a good night. Take care, you
You
too.
too.